highway.
Yeah, use the chat window and confirm that. That would be great. So just type this in the chat window. So do you see the chat window, right? Yeah, type this in the chat window. Yes. So yeah, I'm able to hear. Good, good, great. So great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, so let's get started to understand that the agenda. So what is we are going to have it and how that would be. Yes, we'll come back to that. Yeah, but before starting this, so let's have it some instructions to everyone, because as a good morning, thank you. Yeah, what are the some instructions the whenever we are going through this online is, so just please kindly mute about your microphone or mic, so that would be helpful, so without having any disturbances or background noises. So that is one important point. And second point, so please turn off about your camera, so we don't need that camera. And third one is, so if you have any questions, so we have designated question and answer section, so where we will address that all the questions definitely. So we'll come back to that. So that is the third point, just keep this in mind. And the meanwhile, if you have those any kind of that like a queries or that's like points which you would like to mention it, you can use the chat window so to communicate on this any type of queries. So there are just yeah, there are some instructions before going to start about that agenda. So are you clear about that? So if you're good, type that CLR in the chat window. Now I can understand that you are able to use that the chat window. So everyone please type that CLR. CLR, clear. Okay, good, fine. Yes. CLR, good. The great. Yeah, so that's about like the instructions before starting that. Yeah, so I mean, we are going to understand that it's like main heading if you just observe that generative AI. But what is this? I mean, how it is going to helpful and to whom it is going to helpful. So first, let me check it about that. Some yes or no points. So whether that is applicable to you or not. So just check it. And if it is a yes, so answers will be given at the end. So if you go through this agenda, then definitely you are going to have that answers for all that either yes or no. But have that with agenda. So whenever you are going through this session, so have that agenda. So what is that agenda is? Yeah, let me just talk it about it. So I want to become the master in the next decade of huge demand technologies. So do you want to become the master in the next decade of that huge demand technologies? So is it yes or no to you? Type that. So what do you say? Okay, good. I see that some responses yes. I don't see there's any no. That's great. Yeah, obviously everyone looking there, yes, as in that IT industry, we need to keep on update that. So I will give the history also, like I mean the next the decade which I was mentioning, which I'm mentioning here. So why it is decade? So I will give the answers for that as well as. So, but just keep that in mind. Yeah, if you would like to become the master in the next decade of huge demand technologies, yes, now this is the session to you. And next, another question, if you have that, like if you want to change career, but making the transition is challenging. Suppose you are not getting the hikes in your the current job, or like yeah, the transition you are planning to switch to that like a non-IT to that IT. So that is kind of some challenge. Yeah, that definitely. So if you say that yes, then we will be having that answers in this session. That will come back. Third point is you are the fresher and not getting that jobs due to lack of expertise on the technology, or as a current market point of view, the positions are, not getting the calls. So if you have that kind of the situation, then we are going to get that like answers for it. So is it that belong to that everyone, anyone? So just type that yes, this is belong to me. Type me in the chat window. Anyone freshers here? Okay. Oh, good, good. So I see that like bumping of the chat window. Good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Next one is, so if you are like a working professional or non-working professional, but you are looking about your passive income, then the next generation, yes, like if you have this only job, that is not enough. So we need to have that some passive income as well as. So whether you have the job or not, doesn't matter that. So that's what we say, that freelancer. So if you're looking about it, this kind of, yeah. So if you're looking about it, passive income role, passive income approaches, then yes. So this session is for you. And I want to, yes, you are feeling like you are going to help about your customers to grow their business 10 times by applying that AI services, next generation of that AI services. But how that is, you are going to help it, that is, we are going to talk about it. We'll come back to that. Yeah. Out of all these points, if you say that any one of the point, yes, it is, it is belong to me, or I'm looking this kind of, then wait for that end to get that answers on it. So is it clear to everyone? So on all these points, so now do you have that agenda? Okay, good. Okay, so that like, to understand that the first point, so what is it about next decade and how that would be? But if you'd like to know those points, we'd like to go for the history. So evaluation of the technologies, we'll try to understand it. Then we'll go for that understanding about that next generation. Anyone, do you know about it between that 1990s to the 2000? So what was kind of like evaluation in IT market? Anyone can type this in the chat window. Maybe if you're already experienced guy, and if you have that like some sorry, 10 to 15 years, then we would be having this idea. Services, not exactly the services. Okay, so let me go ahead with that. So 1990s to the 2000, yeah, in the 1990s, the rise of objective-oriented programming and the internet. So distributed-based applications have introduced into the market. So especially Java, C++, and Python also has come up that, but that was not that much popularity in that decade. But main into that objective-oriented programming. So this decade was crucial for the programmers' development and laid the foundation for future advancements. Yes, that was, so before also we were having like 70s, 80s also it was there about the applications, but the era of the IT, if you just observe that from the 1990s it was started, especially with the object-oriented programming. But what was happened in 2000 to the 2010, that decade if you take it that. So how was the technology evolution? Anyone, can you give me that, the points? What was the main technology it was invented in 2000 to 2010? If you know understanding of all these things, then we will get ready for the next decade. So that is the main point. Anyone? Okay, so let me continue. So it was the rise of internet, mobile devices, and social media platforms, and as well as so the introduction of that like virtualization, cloud computing, big data. So these are all some revolutionized that in the industry. Some of the important technologies. Yes, tech built using OOPS or programming in general and OS. Okay, good. Yeah, but main is 2000 to 2010, if you observe that. Yes, internet-based application, mobile devices, social media platforms. So that was started in that decade. And virtualizations, the cloud computing, big data. So these are all some the main the factors that have been impacted in the industry. And now coming to that, 2010 to yeah DBMS, yes, that if you're talking about it like applications itself, that is a backend databases definitely. Now 2010 to the still, what did you observe that in the industry? Anyone can you hit that the chart window? I'm expecting there's more interaction, so drastic changes. Okay, AI. Okay, good. But what did you observe that like about technology trend? ML. Okay, more innovation in the technology. Okay, cloud. Good. Yeah, so good. I see there's some responses really awesome. So, but let me, yeah, automation. Yes, that's really great. Rise in tech for advanced computation. Yeah, good. Everyone move to the cloud and automation. Yes. Moving most of the customers cloud. Yes. Good, good. Really great. The automation, more into that. Yeah. So if you just try to understand that, what is the main evaluation which we have to say is the cloud computing. Yes, that was the main. And making the remote work. Yes, as because of this COVID and all that. Yes, remote work, collaboration. Yes, among that teams. So container-based solution, that is a Docker, Kubernetes, and serverless-based architectures in the market. And not only that, AI and machine learning have also had a significant impact. Yeah, these are all some major the impact in the IT industry. So if you just talk at that 2010 to that still date. So are you clear about this? Are you clear about this like last 33 years of that industry, 1990s to that like up to the still? Are you clear? Have got that idea how this moving that like the IT industry, how it has been impacted? Yes, good. Yeah, more about developing existing technology than about inventing new technology. Okay, good, good. Yeah, fine. So now, what about next? AI, machine learning, also significant impact. Yeah, microservices, yes, that is container-based solutions. So here I mentioned that, yes, microservices is the best. Good. But what about the next one? Next generation. Yeah, so if you'd like to understand this next decade, now we need to know something about AI. So I'm not going to talk about the completely AI, yes, but so how that AI is going to impact into the next world. Already we have seen that's a lot of impact in retail marketing and like yes, retail marketing areas, like I mean healthcare domains, a lot of changes. But what about this? And what is about that like next generation of that technologies which are coming to that? Do you remember that Robo movie? How many of you seen this Robo movie? Type that me in the chat window. Hey, only one man. Oh, good, good. I see that. Yes, good response. Good response. Oh, everyone almost. So if you just remember that movie, so how was that? Like, I mean, if we just quickly go through that's movie, some important points. So that's like the what the Rajinikanth was doing this is he was taking that one machine, and that machine he was giving that a training, right? So giving that a training like as a how that machine can behave like as a human being. So that was almost like he has taken some years of that. So he has trained that complete that machine into that as a human intelligence. Yes, whatever the human, how the human can think it of it and visualize it, can take the decisions of it. So the same thing, it has been trained. But after the training, finally the using of that machine. So while using that, so if you give them the positive way of the training, yes, that machine has responded like it has been given that like a tremendous output. So like in all the activities, so that's like it was a tremendous output. If you use it in the positive way, if you give the positive instruction to this machine, so it was like yeah, the very good. I mean, and accurate results in each and every field, whatever it was trained. But the same machine, if you give that like a wrong output or negative output, then it was become like as a the negative to that like I mean negative impact to that like the current state. I mean that is which they have the I mean in that scene which we can say that, right? Do you remember this? Are you good with this? Have got the picture of it? That's simple, just like a movie. So if you just observe that, as a tech AI does not have reverse thinking. Yes, good point. Yeah, but I mean here, just if you observe that, like before going to understand that, yes, it was some trained, and during that training, they were given the instructions. If you remember that, like two assistants, it was there who were giving their machines. So a lot of time it was taken that, and once it was while giving the training that model, so it was just like got that positive way. I mean, positive training, if they would have given that, it has responded the positive way, and negative, if they would have given that like instructions and it was given that negative response. Yes, if you just keep that these points in the mind about that robo movie, the sequence of that, like the scenes which we have in that, then the same thing like which we have this in the current AI market. So before getting starting with that, like generative AI, we should know that's the three important points which we hear that always in the market: artificial intelligence, and then machine learning, and then the deep learning. So these are all some important points which that's we have that. Yeah, the pros and cons definitely the based on usage. Every technology it is having that. Yes, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. There are three important keywords always we hear that. But what about all these three? Yeah, first let's move into that. What is AI? The finally I'll come back to that generative AI. So we'll come back to that. But what is artificial intelligence? The AI, if we just try to understand it. Yeah, it is just like as we are understanding that first it was taken that computer systems and which was the given the training to perform the task normally requiring human intelligence. Human intelligence. What is the human intelligence? What we can do that? So as artificial intelligence wise, yes, visual perception. Yes, trying to mimic the human. Yes, good. Visual perception. Yes, how we are able to see that, like, I mean, about the colors and all that, like, so visual perception, speech recognition, and decision making, and as well as the translation between the languages. So how we are doing that as a human intelligence, the same thing that has been trained to the computer systems. That is about AI. So 1940s, 50s, AI is not just now, it is not just in like 2010 decade. So it was from the 1970s itself. So it was giving the training all the models. So it was like bringing that computer into that, the human intelligence is the AI. So with all these objectives like visual, speech, like as a, suppose by birth by birth, if you just take this, the baby doesn't know anything about it. But we need to give the training to the baby, right? So identifying that apple, banana, so each and every. So how we are giving the training, the same thing it has been given that like taking the computer systems. And as a human, how we can think it of it that the same way it has been trained. So identifying that, the items that's visually and speech recognition, decision making, understanding the language. Yes, mother, whatever the language she speaks, so baby also should understand that same language. So this is not like a training model, which we can say that is about AI. And already we have seen this all around us. We have that AI like self-driving cars. Yeah, it is having the capability of that on the road, viewing that all the front end vehicles, back end vehicles, the side, and the signaling system understanding that. So visualization it is having that. Are you getting the points? And already we have that spam filters, like in our email, whenever the email comes. So how it is moving that email? Is it a spam email or is it the not spam? So there are already we have that around us. AI is already there. Email classification or fraud detection. If we just try to understand all these some examples, already we have that AI. But how this like decision making has come into the picture. So here, if you just observe the decision making, suppose whenever the self-driving, so if that opposite vehicle, if it is there, then so it is going to, the sensors are going to use it that, and it is going to identify that, okay, vehicle is there and it has to be slow the car or brake the car. So how it is going to understand that? How it is going to predict it, predictions. So it is on the visualization. So it is on the decision making. And it is having like on the top of that. Sorry, please mute the mic.
Is it a fly?
Pranay, please mute the mic. Yeah, good. So now that like yeah, if we just talked about it, it has been trained and we have this all around us. But here, how it is going to predict that email is a spam or not spam? How it is going to take the decision? Now, if you come back to this next level of that is machine learning. So AI is computer systems understanding like as a human intelligence. That is become like as a human intelligence. That is about AI. But after that human intelligence, but how that data is going to predicting that? So that is the next concept within that artificial intelligence. We have the machine learning. That's we say that ML. So ML is a subset of artificial intelligence. But what do we do with that like machine learning or ML? So this is especially which has been designed for the making the predictions. Suppose already what is that like exactly the prediction is? If we just observe that like whenever we are using the keyboard in our mobiles, if you're in the WhatsApp or like in the chat window, whenever we are typing the text, we see that's like helping about it some prediction words. What is the next word? right? But how it is going to know that system? So what is the next key, next word that is required? So whenever we are giving that input, so on the base of this input, the model which has been designed, the chart model which has been designed is going to understand that. So what is the next word that is required? That it is predicting, and it is going to show that related words over there. If you just understand the simple example. So that is about machine learning. It has been trained. This is also trained model. Artificial intelligence is, yes, visualization, decision making. There are like a factors that was used. But from that, how that it is going to predict it, how it is going to take that, like identifying about it, classifications, or like which we can say that like labeling systems based understanding that categories of the data. So how it is going to understand all the things is the ML has come into the picture. So it is going to have that give inputs to a model, and a model returns the prediction. Yeah, inputs are called features and the prediction is called label. If you just observe that, so if you just give that inputs, so inputs is going to take by the model, and model is going to give the labels. That is a prediction. Yeah, based on the existing data or experience, which helps in concluding. That is, yes. Are you following this? Everyone type that the following. AI, and after that AI about ML. So type this following in the chat window, everyone quickly. I need that attention from everyone. So just quickly. Good, good. So here, ML wise, we are talking about it. It has been designed the model, these models, if you give them some input, and model is processing about it, and it is going to analyze the data, and from that analyzation, so the nearest predictions, whatever we have, that prediction, that's output, it is giving that. So if you just take that example, house price prediction model. How do you predict that? So what is the cost of the particular house or particular land? You need to give them some inputs, right? So if you just take that example, here that output is a price, that is we are expecting that. But how the prediction is going to happen that on the price of that particular house? So it is required some inputs. So what do we call that in the machine learning? That is about features. So area, that is the total area of the house, how many number of rooms, how many number of bedrooms, how many, is it furnished or not? So which floor it is, how many years of that house, all these inputs required, right? To estimate the price of the house. The balcony has balcony, is it having it or not? Yeah, based on the real estate. Yeah, these are all the features that is required. So these are all inputs. So if you give that these inputs to this model, model can understand that, and it is going to give the prediction of that, the price. Yes, that is a trained model. So AI is systems thinking like as a human, but in that thinking, so prediction model has come up with this or has been implemented using the machine learning. So taking that input and that input processing about it and giving that the prediction data, that is output. But this can be implemented using normal programming, but why do we need that machine learning? So what is the difference between the machine learning versus traditional programming? It can be implemented like a real estate application using the Java and all that also, right? But why does machine learning? So traditional programming, it is having that like if else based condition. So it is not having that conditions. So if you give that, like, on the basis of that implementation, if area is this, that means you need to give the some existing data. So it is like a rule-based implementation. We can say that rules-based implementation. But machine learning is so learning from examples. So it is not like condition-based implementation. If area is like this, okay, at this cost. If number of bedrooms, okay, at this cost. No, that is traditional program. But here machine learning is not going to follow that if and else condition. It is going to use the examples of the data, not rules. Yeah, based on the input, output, which has been automated. Yeah, give millions of the examples, create a model, use the model to make predictions. Yes. So here, millions of the examples, it is going to use it to create a model, use the model to make predictions. That means, so here the big challenge what we have to see in the machine learning is more data you need to feed it, you need to input it, more examples you need to give it. But more examples to handle that millions of that are billions of the data that is required. You need to have that large compute systems, right? Why it was 1970s, but still that AI is continuing is because of that, like a criticality to many that AI applications, machine learning. But after introducing cloud, we have that now the infrastructure in our hand. So if you just observe that last, that like a 10 years of the decade, infrastructure is very easy to manage it. So large capacity of the systems and with the millions or the billions of the data to manage it, we have the supported the infrastructures. So here, machine learning, if you observe that, so give that millions of the data. So if you just try to understand that, how that human brain, the nerve systems, how it is going to work that neurons, here also this machine learning has been designed taking the input data. So lot of examples. Suppose real estate is one, the functionality. So from that, what are the lot of examples we have that? So all those like layers which is required for that. So filtering, applying that. So normally in the programming, we say the conditions. But here, the layered system, how the neurons are going to work with that in our intelligence, the human intelligence, the same it has been designed in the machine learning. So inputs and processing about that, and finally getting that output of it. So this is about machine learning. So there's give that input, and here we have this internally hidden some the layers, and all these layers are going to bringing into that output. Are you clear about this? So some examples, if you just observe that used car price prediction model. But what is the label here? The price. But what are the features that is required? Manufacturer year, model, age, condition, cylinders, location, like that spam email classification model. So that is labeling is it a spam or not? But what are the features that is required? What are the inputs that is required? So who is sending that? What is the subject? What is the content? And grant a loan model. Yes, what is the loan model? If you just observe that, should we grant a loan or not? That is a decision, that is output. That is a prediction. But what is the input that is required? So does he have that car, or is he having that like a house or not? What is the credit score? Is he married? So is he having that children or not? What is the total income? So all these are all the inputs to predict that should we grant a loan or not. Are you clear about that machine learning? So finally, if you conclude that lots of training data is required. That's a training. The more, if you give this more training to the models, then we get that more output. And computation power and algorithms. So these are all like the next of that artificial intelligence. That is machine learning. So artificial intelligence is continuing. It is not just started this last the 5 years or the 10 years. It is almost the whenever the computer system has been started. Yes, it has been started. But the evolution, if you observe that artificial intelligence next to the machine learning. Now, what about that next? Are you clear up to these two models? So type that AI and ML in the chart window. If you understand these two points in this section, AI and ML. Good, 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 good. Great. Thank you, everyone. So next, moving into that, in this machine learning, so next, if you go for this, more into that, more into deep. See, if you just think it like just a baby, so initially it will be trained in the home itself by giving that like a small that is playing items which we have that. Identifying that apple, banana, the fruits, or cars, or like a TV. So we give the training. Next, LKG to 10th, some generic knowledge to giving that. And next, coming to that intermediate, somewhat filter. So specific to that, like you are into that, like engineering model, you are into that doctor model. Yes. From there to this next level of it, more into the specific field. So like that, AI is, yes, like system, how it can think it of that, like as a human being. That is the main objective. Next, coming to that machine learning. Yes. So give that logic a huge amount of the data. That is like LKG to that's 10th class, which we can say that. So social, math, science, everything it is there, right? Languages, Hindi, English, and everything. All the generic subjects. But next, whenever you move into that engineering and specific to that post-graduation, specific into that models. Yes or no? The same thing here. So next level, what do we have? This is deep learning. So that deep learning is a subset of the machine learning. But what about this deep learning? So what is the kind of the solution it has been given that already we have the prediction, already we have that like as intelligence mechanism. But why do we need the deep learning? Yeah, if you move to that deep learning models, so here we are talking about it in the machine learning, give that inputs and model is a processing with a neurons model, like taking that inputs and hidden all the examples, whatever the data it has been given that, like it is going to analyzing that on the basis of the contextualization. So it is going to analyze it and prediction data, it is given that output. So prediction data, we are getting that output. This is about machine learning. But here, these models, how they have designed. So that is about the deep learning. They have come up with that some models in it. But those models, if we just talk it, we can say that mainly two models, discriminative models, generative models. Now we are nearest to that about our point. Generative AI, whatever we are going to talk it, that is nearest to us now. So deep learning is on the models. So discriminative, what is the discriminative? This is mostly into the classification and prediction. And these are all trained on the labeled data. What is the labeled data? I'll come back. So here, classification of the data point of, we have the labeled data and unstructured data. Suppose in the Facebook, if you just observe that, like what are the posts we do that and we'll get the comments. Or if you go to that about our retail application like Amazon, we have the so many product and each product is having that so many reviews. All the reviews, if we just talk about that is unstructured data. But all the products in that Amazon, if we just observe that, yes, we have the labeled kind of the products like TV, television, or you are looking at mobile devices. These are like labeled data, but within that labeled data, we have unstructured data. That is the product reviews. Reviews is unstructured data. Maybe some of the products, 1,000 members, they have given the reviews. That is unstructured. So data-wise, structure, I mean, that is a labeled based, unstructured data based. We have the different models in the deep learning. That is a discriminative, that is a classification, and with the predictions and generative models. So generative language models, generative image models, image generations. So translation of the applications from one language to another language. or text-based. So generate new data trained on similar data. So if you just go for that, like quickly understanding discriminative models, suppose you have the music data. Discrete, if you pass it like all the music data with labeled data, here you need to pass the labeled data. Then this discriminative model is going to classifying that data. So which are all the music or belong to the rock, or which are all songs, or like which are all belong to the classic model, which are belong to the pop. It is classifying this data. That is about discriminative model from the deep learning. This is one kind of the model which has been designed. But next model we are talking that is generative model. So this generative model is music data. Suppose if you give that some music files, the generative models, what they are going to do, that it is going to generate the new music for us. It is not just classification. It is going to give that, if you give that the 10 music files, the voice based. So it is going to taking that's all that's inputs, and it is going to bring that new content to us. That is the beauty of this generative model. Yeah, good. Yeah, so here if you just observe the generative models and discriminative model, have you got the clarity of this? So machine learning is having the models. Those models have been designed using that deep learning, but the deep learning has come up with that two types of the models, which is having that is labeled based data and unstructured data. So labeled based data, that is a discriminative purpose which we use it, or unstructured data. So this can be used as to generate new data. So generating new data. So that is about, if you try to understand that's deep learning. So deep learning is having the two models. What are those two models? Type this in the chat window. What are those two models from the deep learning? Good. Discriminative and generic. Yeah, so if we just conclude that, so we have the two different models, discriminative models and the generative models. Discriminative models, like already, I mean, if we just observe that like a mail whenever it has been reached. So we have that like priority based mails, or we have that like spam kind of the mails, or we have social like ad posting related mails. So we have this classification or labeling system. So that email is labeling that. Is it inbox? Is it spam? That is discriminative models. But next, what do we have to see? Generative model. So what is this generative? That is, we are going to talk at that. Are you clear? Have you got that objective of it? How does evaluation of that? Even in AI, machine learning, deep learning, and within the deep learning, the models, that is classification models and generative models. So what is the generative AI? Yes, let's look into that now. So generative plus AI. AI is, as we are talking about, artificial intelligence. But what is the generative? Generate content, like there's a text, images, audios, videos, code. So that is generating of this with artificial intelligence. That's, we can say that generative AI. But here also, yes. So what is, like, if you ask some question, tell me about the dogs, we'll get the response about it. But already we have the Google, tell me about the dogs. Why do we have that all these like latest models? Why do we need that? But in the Google, if you just type that, tell me about the dogs, you will get it like a sites reference. but it is not going to give that the content of about the dogs. So you need to look into that different sites, and you need to find that which one is the best, and then you need to use it that. But if I use it, these generative models, it is going to give that. We will talk it like a chat GPT. If you know this already, that is helping the chat GPT. That is one kind of generative language model. Maybe everyone knows about that. How many of you know the GPT, chat GPT? Now the GPT, if it comes, which model? That is helping that generative language model. Okay, so what is the generating AI? I mean, if you just observe that generative AI, so generating the new content. Yes, instead of that, making the predictions, generative AI focus on the creating new data samples. Already machine learning, if you just observe that, it is going to use that huge amount of the data, right? So examples, feeding that examples. But machine learning is helping that the predictions, but not generating the new content. But if we need that new content, then we have the generative AI. Yeah, examples, if we just talk it like a text generation, writing emails, essays, poems. If I ask that, write email to my manager on the particular day to request on the leave, then it is going to helpful. Within the 1 minute, we can get that the complete structure of the email. You can ask that essays, poems. These are like a text generation. Already, if you are using the chat GPT, so this is a chat GPT which is helping text generation of the model. But we have like writing the code. Yes. If you are the software developers, or if you need that help on that, suppose you are working on the Python. Yeah, I need that like some calculator program. I need to implement that calculator program using the Python. Now I can request that simple. Give me that or generate a code for the calculator program using the Python. If I just ask that, yes, that is generating within the 1 minute. So here, like GitHub Copilot is one of the best tool on the coding level to talk at that. Like this, images generation. So creating paintings, drawings, or other forms of that images. So that is Dolly, we have that, which is helping that image generation. So text generation, Chat GPT, code generation, that is GitHub, generating images, that is Dolly. There are like different intelligence models which are helping. Or generating ideas, that is content writing, planning of that travel tour. Suppose you need to travel US for like 1 month. Then if you need that complete the detail day 1 to the day 30. So how you are going to have the plan? You don't need to ask the travel advisor. You just use this model and you can generate the plan. But whenever you ask that's input, it is going to use that already existing examples which have been trained. From that training model, it is giving that, and what is the best the plan that is going to generate to you, and it is going to produce the output. Yeah, any field, not only just like one. So traveling system, so like retail system, marketing systems, or healthcare domains, everywhere, AI. Are you clear about this? Now the generative AI, type that GAI in the chat window, GAI. Interesting, but still it is not ended. What we are going to do with this generative AI? Still we didn't get the conclusion. We have already these things. We have the chat GPT already available. We have that image processing, I mean, image generation point of view, Dolly is available. But why do we need to learn the generative AI? Yes, that is, will come back. Yeah, even Zoom is also using that generative everywhere. Not only just that is, we are coming to that more into. But how the generating AI models have been trained. So as we're talking that here, unstructured data, it is going to take that unstructured data. Labeling data, you cannot give it in the generative AI model. So that is we have to separately. So generative AI model is going to use that patterns and models on unstructured data. It is, we can say that LLM, that is a large language models. So background the generative AI models is going to use it some patterns and the models. What is the model? We'll call it as LLM, large language model. So it is going to use these large language models, that is examples from that, and it is going to generate the new data. So these have been trained like this. So give that unstructured data, this is input to the generative AI model. But generative AI model, how it is going to produce that new content? So internally, it is going to use that one of the model, large language models, to generate a new data. And generative AI models like needs huge volumes of the data. So suppose as we are talking about it, like generate dog image using the Dolly. Dolly, that is image generation. But how it is going to generate that like dog pictures? It has to use that existing samples, right? So it needs like huge volumes of the data. Yeah, there are like static models that learn to generate new data by analyzing existing data. And more data it is analyzed, better new data like existing data. So better outputs we will get it that. So example, a ChatGPT-3 model was trained on a data set of 500 billion words. So GPT-3 is like one kind of the model, LLM model, generative AI model. So it was trained on a data set of 500 billion words. 500 billion words, like whenever you are requesting that on the particular context, it is going to filtering on that 500 billions of the words of that like existing data examples, and it is going to produce that output. But what about these 500 billion words of the data? Where they have got it? So how the Rajnikant was giving the training to the robo, here also these people, they have given the training, like given that all these data. So examples, if you just observe that, Wikipedia data, blogs data, books, open source code, conversations, which was happened in the previous sections. So all these data, it has been taken and it has been trained these LLM models. That's why we say that huge volumes of the data. So it is giving that like some output is, suppose about our education system, if you observe that LKG to that like a 10th class, you are studying that all the concepts. Then you are moving to the specific the stream to become the master in that. But all that like the learning, whatever you are doing that, from that learning, whenever it is required applying, you need to bring it concept, right? That output, you need to bring it. Suppose if you are joined that in the company, and if they are asking this boss about your education system, whatever you have learned, yes, you need to apply that here. That means you need to bring it back, whatever you have learned from that, like 4 semester, I mean, sorry, the 4 years, 4 into 2, that is 8 semesters, 8 semesters into the 5 subjects, like 40 subjects of the data. That's you need to bring into that their usage. Yes or no, about our that brain, like intelligence system, it has been trained that 4 years. So like this, so here these the models, whatever we are talking that, so those models have been trained by taking that these unstructured data from that like a Google, which is available. about images, text, code, and everything. It has been trained. But where it has been trained in which model is, that is LLM. This is important, large language models. Suppose if I ask this LLM, the garden was full of beautiful dash. And if I give this data to this LLM, LLM is going to understand this from the previous examples. And that examples, what are the best output which we have that nearest to this context, that word which will be given that output. It is like as a human conversation. So these large language models are trained on the deep learning models that understands and generate a text in a human-like fashion. And LLMs are the good at understanding and generating the human languages. So LLM is the main point in the generative AI. So what is it like a backend models which are working, that is LLMs. LLM is one of the model in the deep learning. Are you clear about these points? But what are the different examples of that LLMs? If you just observe that, ChatGPT is one of the large language model. Or if you just talk it like a Google bot, that is another LLM. There are models already available which are helping that to generative AI point of view. We are using the ChatGPT is nothing but you are using that as one of the generative LLM model. Yeah, Bing internally it is going to use that like OpenAPI. That is Bing is in the like uh, Internet Explorer that has come up with that integrated with the backend model. But these are all the like main metas like Llama, Google Bot, ChatGPT, OpenAIs. There are all some important large language models are available. Okay. AI is there, machine learning is yes trained, and as well as like deep learning models are available, which are the descriptive models and large language model. I mean, yeah, the generative models. And in that, like descriptive models, like one of the model we can say that in the deep learning that is LLM models. Then what is the role of that about ours? Why do we need to go for the generative? Are you clear so far? Type that CLR in the chat window, everyone, if you're following that. Interesting. These are all next generation of that like systems, how those are working. So far, we are in that like a data. On the internet, we have this huge amount of the data. But they are using that data, how you are going to get the best result within that's like less time. So that is the next model which we have that. Yeah, so here, if you try to understand that like a chat GPT, so what is like a backend? So whenever you are using the chat GPT, so what will happen that? So it is going to use that backend API model. API, and this API is going to communicate with that LLM models, like a GPT, which is the 3.5 model, GPT-4. They're all like a different. That means on the basis of the training of the data. So if you go for the 3.5, it is having that around 500 billion of those data. If you go for the GPT-4, it is having the trillions of the data which has been fed. They're giving that, keep on training that. So which model do you want to use it? Yes, whenever you are using the chat GPT, maybe you have observed that. Do you want to use the GPT 3.5 or GPT-4? So on the base of the request, backend it is going to communicate with these LLM models and it is giving the response back. So this is a structure. So we say that like whatever the message you are giving that, the prompt, yes, API is that program interface, application program interfaces. So this prompt, which will be submitted to these models, LLM models. But LLM model, it is going to refer to the backend articles, jokes, poems, the Wikimedia. So all that's like it is going to filter the data, and from that best output, whatever we got it, that output it is going to return back to the user. That's it is generating new content from the existing examples. It is going to take that existing examples. Okay, good. Then why do we need to learn the generative AI? Already we are having this system. These models are available. LLM models are available. Then what is, why you are saying this next decade is that like going to have this generative AI is that like a very good value? How that would be? Let's see this now. So what we can do with LLMs now? These are all going to helpful in the current IT industry to implement chatbots and virtual assistants like user support or interactions. Now they are automating that. So like existing their company's data, whatever they have. So is that company's data. So whenever any user asks the question, there is no manual. They are building like this a chatbot application. And on the basis of that existing answers, which have been trained, and it is given the response back to the client, that is virtual assistant. So chatbots implementation, content generation for the marketing and advertising, and the language translations, text summarization. This is very, very important. Summary of it. So what is the summary? Let's talk it that one, a best example. Suppose in the Amazon, we have that like some of that TV or mobile device. Let's take it iPhone 15. But who bought that? Like all the users or customers, they give the reviews, right? We have that like something 10,000 reviews on that, the product. Now they need to analyze it. So in that product, in the reviews, what do we have that? Pros and cons. So they need to summary of it. So like a human being wise going that each review, identifying about it, what is the cons here, what is the pros here, what is the pros here. So identifying that or reviewing about it, 15,000 reviews by that manual, is it possible? To get that like conclusion of that product by the product owner, that is Apple? No, that is not possible. But if you use it, this generative AI, and all that 15,000s of the data, if you give it to this large language model, but you need to train it. We need to train it that 15,000. So, okay, I'm going to give this input. Give me that or summarize about it in 50 words or the 100 words out of all these 15,000. Give me that 100 words about the pros and like 100 points about the cons. Simple. That is going to generate, taking that input data, and it is going to check it about that each and every the review, and it is going to generate conclusion or summarization of that data. That is the beauty of these generative AI models. So text summarization, question and answers. Yeah, customer has come to that like Amazon portal, and he is having that some questions related to the product which he bought it. Product was not delivered. Then he has to ask the questions and answers based. Then how it is going to have it? Yes, those kind of the models, brainstorming, yes, getting the new ideas and code generation. This is especially in the IT industry. So if you just take it like any domain, like healthcare, insurance, or the marketing, retail, or IT. So if you just take that domain, so there is a need of that these kind of the models implementation. So these large language models are the powerful artificial intelligence model designed for understanding and generating human-like text. So LLMs are the important. So finally, if you conclude that, yes, artificial intelligence, create a machine that can simulate human-like intelligence and behavior. And machine learning, yes, learning from the examples. Machine is learning from the examples. And generative AI, learning from the examples to create new content. Okay, machine learning, yes, you are training that examples to that machine, but from that machine, how you are going to get the better content, new generation, new content generation, that is generative AI. Are you clear about all these points? Still, it is not done. What about our role? But what about our role if you are going to understand that these points you should remember it. So now this what is kind of like each and every company, each and every the product, if you observe that, they have that huge amount of the data. But from that data, they need to have that like chatbots. They need to have that text summarization. They need to implement like question and answer system on their products data. They need to get that the new ideas are supporting that product for that multi-language systems, language translations, models in their product. And content generation for the marketing teams, advertising point of view. Yes. So now, if you go for this, about our role in this, using the generative AI, already all these models are available. But why do we need that? Is we have some limitations from these models. What are those limitations? Suppose if you're going to use these models like chat GPT or Google Bard or like LLM, Llama. So if you're going to use, they're all like cost oriented. So maybe if you are working with that GPT 3.5, there is no cost, but GPT 4, if you go for that, that is cost oriented. They're all high cost. Okay, even that customer is okay to use these AI models, generative AI models or LLM models, but we have the limitation that. So these, suppose ChatGPT, if you're going to use it, it is trained limited to the September 2021 or January of this 2022 latest, if you just observe that. So that means if you ask that yesterday's some data, then it doesn't produce it. Or if I ask this in the 2023, some kind of this input to the ChatGPT says that I don't know what you are asking that, but I trained that only up to January 2022. Are you getting the point of it? So it is having that certain limit of the data. So live data, you cannot get it that. That is the limit we have on from these LLM models. So on the internet up to September 2021, whatever the data we have in the Wikimedia, the blogs or whatever it is. So they have trained only up to that about the ChatGPT. But who won that like a 2023 ICC World Cup? If you request us in the ChatGPT doesn't know that because it was happened that like World Cup in 2023, right? It was not trained. Who was the captain? Who was what all the teams that is involved? Which team got that But Bard has the access to the browser, good. But that is going to take it from the Google. That is we are going to talk it that. So Bard is not only dependent on the LLM model, which we have that. So what, I mean, which is having that it is integrated with those LLM models and as well as latest data also. That is, we are coming into that. And whenever we are using these LLM models, they are not having the private data source. Suppose like Amazon, they have all the product details in the CSS, CSV file format, or they have the PDF file format. But they need to give the PDF file formats as input data to analyze, to analyze it, summary of, suppose PDF file, which have that like something 1,000 pages, we have that. But from the 1,000 pages, it has to be get that summary of all the 1,000 pages content in the 100 words. If you have this about our private data, if I give it this to ChatGPT, that means I'm submitting my private data to this model, right? No, I should not submit that. I should not go for it. I need to have it my own LLM model, because my PDF is having that my security data, my profile related security data, or my product related security data. I should not submit it to that. These public models. So there is no private data sources here. Are you getting the points about it? So these limitations point of view about our internal, like now each product, each application, they are looking about it, these intelligence mechanisms, AI models, like a chatbots implementation or summarization of that data product or estimation of that, okay, last year, that's revenue is this, benefits are this, and what about the next year? So this kind of that analyzation, if they need it, they are going to look into about that, implementing their own LLM models. Suppose if you just observe that developing a normal web application, so we use it, this client and server architecture. So normal internet-based application, if you observe that, whenever we hit in the browser, it is going to submit to the middle layer, and middle layer is going to interact with the backend data layers, and dynamic data, whatever we have, it is fetching about it, and it is giving back to the client. So these are all like applications with the last 20 years, which we are working with that. Java, you are learning, or Python, you are learning, or .NET, you are learning, is nothing but this kind of architectures you are using. But what about the next? How it can be implemented, these LLM based applications? So we have like, Python side, some kind of like packages of the models which belong to that generative AI models. Yes, Python, you are learning that before to implement the web applications, or some automation mechanisms, or cloud infrastructure management. But what about the next generation? So these LLM applications, to implement it, so we have some frameworks which are providing about it. And these frameworks, how the bot system is working. Bot system is going to use that existing LLM models which have been trained, and it is going to use the latest modeling also. That is Google data, our latest Wikipedia data, or private about our data sources. So on the base of the input, this lang chain is going to understanding that, and it is going to helpful to integrate with these backend API models, or these latest the data, or about our private data sources which we have that on the internet, or like about our personal data, we can integrate it, and we can implement the model to get that about our LLM based applications. Yeah, this is about like before web applications, how we are using about it, like a front end layer with a middleware layer to the back end database models. But now next generation of the technologies, how that would be, we need those applications, we need those products, we need those process models. But those are already up to max, they have come up with that. Until that new company is coming that, and the product they are launching about it. But already on the existing applications, now what is the next which is coming? The says LLM implementation. So which can be interacted with the backend LLM models. That could be existing LLM models, or about our private data sources, or it has to set it on the base of that's like a context. It has to get that information from the Google. How do we integrate all these backend LLM models? Generating that. So giving that on the basis of that input, it has to interact with all these backend LLM models and bringing that output to the user. This is about that next generation of application implementations. Are you clear about this? Now, why, I mean, what is kind of that like role we are going to perform that as a generative AI developer? If you're going to mark that the generative AI developer is nothing but you are going to work this kind of architecture. If you say this, I'm the web developer, if you're going to work with this kind of application models. But if you say that I am like LLM application engineer or generative AI developer, so how do we implement this kind of the process models? That means using these frameworks, middleware frameworks, because see, open AI is the, like a different model. Our llama is different model, but you need to finally integrate with all these models with about our private data sources or the latest Google information to get it. Google, we need to integrate it. So integrating with all these backend LLM models and bringing that middleware one more framework and this framework. So getting that output and giving this as per that input to that user is, that is we say that LLM based applications. So how do you work with these LLM based applications? That is the learning the point from the next generation of the technology point of view. That is generative AI developer. We are generating the new content using that existing model by integrating backend all these models. We are going to integrate it and we are going to generate that. So like, I mean, each and every company is looking about it. Now they have the data. They need the chatbots for it. They need to summarization of the data on it, and they need to have it like a language translation. So to give the support for the different the countries of the customers as a globalization point of view. There are all the use cases in the current market. Image generations, video generations, flips. There are like new content generation. Marketing is very, very important. Retail point of view. So all that's kind of the solutions, it is going to help in that. So now with this AI model, we are going to say, I mean, we hear that always in the market, some people are going to lose the job, definitely. So now the copywriting, before they were writing the mails, now that position is occupied by that, this AI system. So who know, I mean, now the copywriter, he should know about these LLM models, how it has to be used. He should know it. Then his job is safe. Otherwise, he has to leave that. If he's not going to update it, he has to left from that position. Copywriting, content creation, all these people, now it is automated, generative. Are you clear about that importance of this generative AI? Type that's everyone. So understand us this so far. Now let me show this quickly some statistics. Now we go for that, like let me show that opening about suppose freelancer, if you go to that, that's programs. So let me show that just importance of that LLM to understand it. How much charge and how much the demand we have. If you go to that Upwork. Yes, in this Upwork, if you see that's so development and IT we have, that is development of the applications, like web-based applications. Now you see that another kind of the services, AI services. you go to this section, AI services, generate. Get advice and tips from an expert. Okay, so I don't need that. Build a custom chatbot. Chatbots implementation as a separate service models now. Develop your own AI model, that is LLM model. So creating eye-catching art to generate it. Yes, we have this Dolly frameworks, image generation. You see that now these are all kind of the services. The next in the market. If you go for this more deep, you see that. So some examples, Harish, AI consultant. He charging for the 30 minutes, $15. He charging the 30 minutes of the work, $30. But what he is going to do that? So define the problem, clearly outline the problem you are trying to solve, gather the data collection. So suppose if you go for that, yeah, so especially if you go for that here, generative AI writing. So if you just observe that his profile, AI ops. Yeah, so here like a DevOps also required. So don't think that like DevOps is not there. DevOps required. Because what of that LLM application you are implementing, that LLM application you need to apply with the CI/CD process. How fastly we implement that model and we deliver that model. Process models are the important. DevOps is not going to ending that. But so far the DevOps which has been applied for that web development based applications. But next we need to apply that these microservice based models, serverless architecture models on the LLM based applications. That is the next generation of that movement. Operations like a DevOps that is required. Yeah, so here you see that what is that like model which they are asking, that's LangChain. Yes, this is the framework which is helping to integrate with the backend models. And this framework which we can manage it with Python. Python is providing that one of the module, LangChain. So fine-tuning language models to implement it, developing and advanced chart interfaces and a streamlined application. Yes, there are all the things we are going to learn it. With the AWS and Google Cloud. Cloud never ends. Cloud required, process models required. But next generation of the applications are LLM based application, that is. So with the Python, yes, we need to use it. Python modules, LangChain is the model that helps to integrate with the backend existing models or backend existing private data sources to get it output of that on the latest data also. So how much charge he's doing that? You see that $150 per 30 minutes. So chatbot development, data analysis, that is summarizations, supporting, programming, implementation of it. Yes, you see that these kind of the jobs next coming into the market. Now it is more demand for these kind of applications. Yeah, LLM based web application. So an outstanding job developing ML and generative AI web app. So like this, if you just observe that in the next generation of it, so this is, he has done almost 33 jobs, 41 jobs, 21 jobs per hour, like $70, $100. Easily you can earn it monthly, minimum $2,000 to $3,000. Approximately 2 lakhs, just sitting in the home and creating like this kind of, yeah, you can get the job offers as well as, but as well as I was talking about it, passive income, how you can get it. Passive income. So this technology, if you learn it, yes, the companies are looking about it, who can implement these LLM based applications for their product. And as well as, if you know that you can register in this Upwork and we have the freelancer applications, and you also can get that the work, hourly based work, just 2 to 3 hours. Because it never ends, this generative, like a content generation. All each and every company requires about all these generative technologies. Don't think it about AI or the machine learning. Those are all required. Okay, the extreme data streaming and all that. If we are the non-computers also, we have the no-code approach models and we have the coding approach models to implement these LLMs. Are you clear about this? How do you feel about this one? I just shown that like the kind of like requirement. Is it awesome or not? Why do you want to look for the, suppose you are not getting the job? Yes. So try to work that parallelly freelancer and show that like work on this projects, and these projects also you can showcase in the resume. Or if you go to that Naukri and the LinkedIn, yes, generative AI developer, we have the companies who are looking about the recruitment on it. But this is the next generation. So we need to have the DevOps models. We should know that cloud models. Those are all required. They're all not gone. Don't think that whatever I have learned DevOps, is it going to helpful in the future or not? No, it will be there. But that is generic now. That's why we don't see that more requirements. So are you clear about these points? So type that CLR. Yeah, so we need to keep on that like identifying this next generation, then only we'll be sustaining the market. So DevOps on AWS, yes, you can try it, but yes, so we have that. The requirement on it, no doubt at all. Cloud, yes, whatever you are learning that is required, no doubt at all, because infra level that is required. Already we have that existing application. Now existing application having the data, that data using that, how do we implement these models? Yeah, so, and if you observe that in our Rise Engine also, in our Rise Engine application, so we have implemented these tools. Suppose resume crafting tools, how we have implemented. So we are using the backend, these LLM models. Suppose you need to get it like essential job skills. So go to here and give that like which role you are looking about it. Suppose you are looking about it, Python developer or something. Whatever the role or whatever the job skills which are looking at, you can just like request that. Now this model is going to communicate the backend LLM model. And so we have given that input and it is passed to the model, and model is a process that on the basis of the context we have given that, and it has generated. Yes, you should have that Python programming, you should have that on the object-oriented programming, you should have that web frameworks, you should have that like a database and SQL. Yes, it is giving that. What are the main requirements as a Python developer? But whenever you submit the request, it is going to use the backend. Some credits it is going to use it that credit system. So here, if you see that we have the point-based system. So whenever you use it, this kind of the tool, so we take the some points from it because this is cost-oriented. So now it has been directed the points. So now this is the next generation, how you're going to give the services. Yes, you can implement about your own applications and you can come up with that about your creativity approaches by using these LLM models, and you can introduce into the market? How do we implement those APIs and how do we sell those APIs? That is also one of the important thing to generate the passive incomes in the next generation. Are I clear these points? Amazing, right? Getting that's about next feature, imagination. So how you can sustain it, how you can survive that. Yeah, so we are implementing still, they're all in the process. We are coming that like a resume, blog management, LinkedIn management. As far one, the job fresher or who is looking about the job, what are the things that is required? Everything we are implementing that. That is about our own model. We are designing that. But backend, we are using those LLM models. Whether that could be ChatGPT, whether that could be like a Google bot or Llama or whatever it is. So now coming to the training program, that is about importance of the generative AI. Are you clear about these points? Have understood the importance of the generative AI? So type that IGAI, importance of generative AI. IGAI. Good. Yes, bumping that the chat window. That's really awesome. Good man. Thank you. So think it about this way. So like, don't think the too much on that artificial intelligence designing. We will crack about our brains with that algorithms and all that. You need to have that math background. You need to have that like statistical background. Yes, that is required. Now, those kind of the requirements also there. But this is like if you just observe that about our era, the decades. So this decade diagram, if you remember that, artificial intelligence, then machine learning, then deep learning. Next one is models, which we have that descriptive models and unstructured data models. Using that unstructured models, like that is generative AI. How do we generate the new content? That is the creativity of that. Who is having the more creativity boom in the market? They can become thus their own entrepreneur. Yes or no? So you can look into the job side. Yes, no issues. That is the first. Yes, we have the requirement on this. Or suppose you don't get the job. Yes, you can start with that like Upwork and freelancer, and you can the work with them. Once if you know these training models, or if you'd like to become that's about your own entrepreneur, yes, you can become that using existing models. How you can manage that. So that is about our training model. So how this system can be implemented. This is the training we are going to talk about. So that is required some Python programming. We have that coding up basis and non-coding approaches. That is, let me explain that. The training about the training program, what we are going to learn that's is Python programming from 0 to hero, which is required. And API implementation. Yes, you can implement about your own APIs and you can sell those APIs. Passive income. So master the prompt engineering. Yes, if you are going to become the master prompt engineering, you can sell about your prompts also. This is the next kind of that one important role in the market. Prompt engineering. Just type that in the Google, Naukri or LinkedIn. We have that very good demand for these prompt engineering masters. And ChatGPT, Midjourney, these LLM models, image generation point of view, are like a text-based, voice-based. Yeah, so generative AI and LLM models with coding. That is a Python here is the input. And AI powered coding with GitHub Copilot. Yes, in the organization as a software developer, next you should know this is one of the skill set in your resume. You should present it from the scratch. No need to implement it. But how do we use it? These AI models for about your programming. That is we are going to talk at that as a Java programmer or the Python programmer or .NET programmer. Or even if you have the Java, then you can convert easily into that Python. That is about that these tools benefit. If you know the just object-oriented programming models, maybe syntaxes are the different. You can use these GitHub Copilots, and if you know the Python, and even you can ready with that, like working with the .NET also. Because these softwares are helping. This intelligent system is helping that. That's why the jobs are reducing that, if you observe that. Suppose before the Java developer, they need that. They are especially looking at the Java developer or Python. Yes, Python developer. But now, who is the developer? Enough. Whether you are the Java, whether you are the Python, whether you are like a .NET. And if you know this GitHub Copilot, how do we use it? You are good. That is, we are going to talk in that. ML model deployment with Python. That is, yes, LLM application implementations. And with the use cases and the projects with the different use cases, we are going to take it that and we are going to work with that. That is about the training model. Are you clear about this content? So this is about the training program. So duration 3 months. So training mode only online. And fees is 25K. And single time, if you go for this 22K. So that is about training program. But if you like to become that the freelancer, or if you need that assistance in the getting the job, yeah, guaranteed the job program, training plus placement, and with the freelance. So if you're looking the freelance side, yes, we will help you. Or if you're looking about it like job side, yes, we will help you. So this is the kind of the service, either job offer or under freelancer. So the training model, whatever the content we have, with that content, we have the additional content. That is adding about it like a process models. If you know already this one, yes, you are good. Docker, Kubernetes, that is in the DevOps and AWS. Yeah, Python API, already we are talking this in the training, master prompt engineering. So this one. But here, no coding models also we are going to talk in that. So how you can implement these LLM models using the no code approaches. And coding approach model anyway in the training that has been included. And making money with the prompt engineering and the APIs. Yes, how do we implement that APIs and how do we sell the APIs to make money? Yes, if you are working in the job, yes, you can continue. And parallelly, yes, you can work about your own API system and you can sell that in the market. But that's required the Python for it. And how do you publish it? Where you can publish it? How you can implement these APIs and how you can sell that APIs, how you can do the marketing, all those things will help you here. And here in this the approach, 10 plus different use cases and products, we'll talk at that. And we will help you. So how we have the Ryzen technologies like the system, you can set up, will help you to set up about your own AI-based application also, if you're looking at especially on the freelancer side. Or if it is a job, yes, job side. But this kind of the model, if you know that, how do you set up this kind of application, that will be helpful in the job. Yes, they are looking that. How you can manage that or how you can set up these AI-based applications, LLM-based apps. So there are the additional modules you will be having in the placement program. Training models, yes, there are like 8 modules you will be having. And additional to this, these are all the modules which are available. So category 2, we can say the training and placement program. So this is first 3 months of the training model, and the next 3 months, that is so setting about your own application and how you can implement it. So complete giving the practical exposure of about it. So online and offline we have. Yes, offline also you need to come back to that here. And yes, so the fees to discuss on all that, you need to join that one-to-one call. But how you can join this one-to-one call, I'll come back. And this is available only for the 10 members. The first 10 members who are going to enroll in this. So training, okay, anyone can join that, no issues. But this kind of like the job guarantee program, and as well as this like generative AIs with no coding approaches, or like APIs implementation and selling those APIs and setting up that, like how we have the Rise and Shine, same kind of that application will help you to set up for you, which you can parallelly, yes, like with about your, on father name, you can build about your one the application. Parallel, you can work the job and you can do this kind of like a passive income. This is the next generation. So Upwork and freelancer, if you just add about your profile, but dollars wise, you can, I mean, per hourly wise, you can get that money on these generative AI approaches. Lot of demand, lot of demand. Easily you can get it like monthly minimum $1,000. Okay? That means 80,000. Just if you take that like 3 or 4 projects, that's enough. Are you clear about this? But how you can book the one-to-one call? Are you clear so far? The models? I mean, training program and training with the placement program. Have got the clarity about it? So if you need the training, yes, the first approach model. But if you need the training with setting up that complete the freelancer approaches, or that like a job requirement. Yeah, we have like in the generative AI coding based approaches, that is a Python. So like in the cloud, whatever the Python mod we are talking about, it same approach, somewhat extension. So the name itself is saying that generative AI. Yes, you can use it. These programming is also using the generative AI. You can generate the programs, but you should understand that syntaxes, Python, and everything. So that's point of GitHub Copilot. We are going to talk with that. You can use that, and you can take the help of it, and you can generate that applications. So we are going to talk about the streaming, LangChain, and Python, the models which are belong to that data science related, but not into the more algorithms. Algorithms, that is into that the deep learning kind of the models. If you're designing, yes, you need to use it. But we are out of that. They're all already available. We are going to use those existing models, and we are going to generate a new content for the customers. Yeah, how you can book one-to-one call. So just let me share that one link. Yeah, I'm going to share this link in the chat window. And register to this. So just enter about your name and about your email ID and mobile number, and register to this one-to-one call. This is who are looking about it, the placement assistants or freelance to become that like the more those kind of the service implementation. If you need it, then you can use this link and you can join that. And once you join that, have you joined? Have got that link? Yeah, whether you are going to take the training or if you have this interest on this one. Yes, I see there's 2 members, they have joined. 3 members you have joined. Yeah, Govardhan, Jayant, Mallikarjun. Anyone, if you just speak that's with me, yes, you can register it. Yes, I see that 5 members now. Deepak, Hare Krishna. Okay, so once you join that, so if you have or if you need that, yes, Karthik. If you need that details on it, then I mean, if you need that one-to-one call with me to discuss more on this, then let me show that how you can book a call. Yeah, once you logged into this course, I mean, once you subscribed out there, so go to the feed option. Go to the feed, and here you see this in the first option, you have 1 out of 1 available slots for the event placement one-to-one call. Yeah, placement one-to-one call in the generative AI developer with Python to build LLM based application using OpenAI. So just tick that book now, and you can find that Monday to Friday, and between the timing that is a 3 to 5. So if you just click on this today, 29th, and you see those 4 slots are available. So on the basis of about your availability, you can take the slot and you can book the now. If you'd like to speak with me on this placement program point of view, the fees and all the details that will be discussed, and it is going to accept that's only. Yeah, even the normal people also you can register here. So you can register over there. So just to subscribe it and you will get the notifications. And batch is going to start it from the Thursday morning 8 a.m. Thursday morning 8 a.m. And if you would like to register to this course, that is only for the course, what you can do is you can go to the learning paths. And here you can see the generative AI developer, and you can register by paying that amount. But if you have this already existing DevOps and AWS engineer on this course fees, we are going to announce that 50%, because already you are learning the DevOps and AWS from about outside. But if you would like to extend that new skills on this next generation, we are given that option 50% discount. That is only for you today, if you register today. So if you are really interested on the generative AI, and if you'd like to go for this generative AI, yes, already who are all registered DevOps and AWS. I mean, if you join us in this training program, who are looking at generative AI, we have included now the DevOps and AWS in this course itself. Yeah, you can register in the generative AI developer, and where, or if you are specifically registered for that DevOps, yes, you can continue on, I mean, from this Thursday itself, DevOps and AWS, both will be parallelly going through that. So Python, which we need to delete, like AWS, which we need to delete, and then DevOps tools we have. So those DevOps tools which will be covered. So if you like to register the DevOps unit, so this is the the registration section. And if you like to register for the generative AI developer, and this is the section. And if you had already taken this DevOps and AWS course from us, that means if you are in the club, DevOps and AWS club, and you are going to get it, the 50% discount on this. That is only for today. But how you can have that one-to-one call meeting? So, I mean, have got this, the book now options. If you'd like to speak it, anyone, like at any time, if you'd like to speak it, you can go to that on the basis of the time availability. and you can pick up that like a dates, and you have the 4 slots. And so click on this and book now, and it will be added to the Google Calendar, and you will get that notification here on this on so date, and this time you have that one-to-one call, and here the Zoom link will be enabled automatically 15 minutes before, and you can join, and from about outside I will join. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? Yeah, so between this Thursday before this, and you have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday slots are available, and you can book the slots, and you can so you will get that notification, and like a Zoom call will be automatically enabled here before the 15 minutes of the meeting. Then you can join the Zoom call, and we will join. I mean, I'll join from my side to discuss on the placement program. But that is only available 10 seats, which are helping us on this. The services, what do we give that, and how that would be. So the complete which will be discussed in the one-to-one meeting. Yeah, so that's about understanding for today on this the generative AI importance. Are you clear about this? So how do you feel about this session? So can you give me that like inputs on it?